All right, we're doing something special in the first 24 hours of today's episode. We're giving you a chance to win $300. So how's it going to go down? This has come out at 2 o'clock on Easter Sunday, so happy Easter. For the next 24 hours. So if you're watching this in the first 24 hours from Sunday, the March 31st at 2 o'clock, today is all about battery systems. So put in the comments below, what is your current battery system? It could be in your four-wheel drive, your camper trailer, your caravan. Let us know what you love most about it, what sort of touring you do, or maybe you've got a new caravan on order. Let us know what your ultimate battery system is in the comments below. First 24 hours, we're going to go through, pick a lucky winner. You win $300. We'll ask you to reach out to us on Instagram. $300, and we'll get your sizes and we'll deck you out in some traveling campers merch. G'day and welcome to an episode that I know that plenty of people out there have been excited. I know when we first got, I think it was this van, I said I was going to do a couple of live battery tests to really show you, again, we live full time in this thing, to really show you sort of what a 900 amp battery system can do for living off grid. And look, in this time we have done quite a few of these tests and really put on social media, and look, what it's really shown me is it can vary so bloody much depending on a lot of factors, which I'm going to get into. But look, it's going to be fun. I don't know how I'm going to make this like really interesting to, because we're probably going to have to cover a couple of days here. But what I'm going to do, it's basically about time. I picked it. We're down here in Victoria at the moment. We're about an hour out of Melbourne. So again, that's one thing. Weather is very hit and miss. But it's what we're going to do is, again, we've got, I think it's, let me just check the weather. All right, so today we've got 29 degrees, tomorrow 33, and Tuesday's 32. So that's pretty good days. That's why I've chose to start this today. It's pretty good days, pretty good weather to be able to get a pretty accurate sort of reading. Look, we're down here at our good friend's property down here. It's absolutely amazing place. We've got this whole place to ourselves. So I do have power to plug in once it's sort of done if we run this thing flat, but I thought it'd be absolutely perfect. So look, I'm gonna get straight into it. And we're gonna go and get the show on the road. Basically what we're gonna do, again, we're not plugged into power. So we're just gonna literally just live like we would as though we're just plugged into power at all times and just see what happens. So just so you know I'm not shitting ya, what is the time? It is 10:28, Sunday the 11th of February. So this is our start time. So I'm going to chuck the inverter on here. That's on. I'm going to put the aircon. It's probably about the right time I'd want to put the aircon on as well. It's like the windows are closed and it's just starting to get uncomfortable. It's not crazy, but definitely probably time to put it on. So a big tip to what I've found, which is a rookie mistake, because when you're plugged into power and it's hot, you just want to get the aircon on like 16.3 and just get it cool as quick as possible. But when you're off grid, this is going to be where you'll burn the most battery the quickest, depending on how big your system is. So what I'm going to do for this is, look, I think I'm going to run this on around 25. Generally around the 20 degrees or 22. Again, it depends. Everyone's got their numbers. I'm generally 2 to 3 degrees warmer when I'm off grid if I'm really trying to save power. If this is a short overnight, I don't care. I just won't even look at it. But let's just say if you're trying to, again, stretch this out for as long as possible, you're probably going to have to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 degrees, a little bit higher than what you usually would be if you're plugged into power. So what I'm going to do here, I think 25 is probably going to be my number. If it does feel a bit warm later, I'll whack it down a bit. But what I'm going to say is, and I've done this when we've been up in really hot climates, is I'll start the aircon at like 27, 28 degrees. Now, it probably sounds stupid, but what you want to do is you want to sort of get the aircon sort of to its operating temp, because when it first gets going, this is where it uses the most power. And if the van's really hot, again, you might be a bit uncomfortable, so sort of while you're setting up, etc., 28 degrees or something like that, and just sort of get it until the aircon sort of starts to go to float mode. It's at its temperature, and it's just sort of cruising along. This is where it's going to use the least amount of power, when it's just sort of just chilling at that temperature. So once you get it to there, 28, it's like, cool, we've unlocked that. 27, get it to there. 26, 25, get it down to your number. I found that's the best way, like the most power efficient way to get down to your temperature and saving power. But for this example, again, it's not crazy hot outside. I'm just going to start at 25 and probably leave it there. I'm going to keep it on fan 1 as well. And then that's that for the aircon. So we'll let that kick in and see what it does. As you can see as well, we've got a full bank. So 900 amps, 100%. It's saying we're getting 2 amps of battery at the moment, but that's just at its floating range because it's at 100%. Once this aircon does kick in, that'll start giving it to it a little bit there. But this is our specs of what we're dealing here, which I'll get into in a minute. That's what we're looking like at the moment. Now, for other power we're sort of using, 12 volt, it's really just the strip lights and the little lights behind us here. that's generally what we'll sort of have during the day, 12 volt really, like with a couple of windows open. That's really about it. And 240 again, aircon is the biggest thing. That's what we did this battery system for, was to have aircon off grid. Again, this is our full-time home. So between that, our kettles, I'll probably have, the kettle probably get run twice a day, maybe 3 tops possibly. Hair dryer in the morning, laptop chargers. We have our K8 water ionizer that uses bugger all. And then maybe just like if we're charging, you know, Mikayla batteries and that. And that's probably about our main 240 appliances. Sorry, last one, convection oven. Again, we got a convection oven. We don't have a microwave. The convection oven is this is Mikayla's thing. A microwave, it's a steamer, it's a griller, it's an oven. It's everything all in one. So we use that probably every single day. So again, that is another big piece for off-grid. All right, I've been sitting here for a bit, and 25 just, it ain't kicking in. So I'm gonna go down to 24, 23. If it's just sort of sitting there, just air blunt, there we go. So that basically tells me that the van was at about 25 degrees. So I've gone to 24 now, it's kicked in. So maybe we'll use this as our happy number. All right, we're on in action. So this is a very good example here. So I've got I've got my solar outside as well, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, and I've got the solar on the roof, obviously. So factoring all of that of the solar that it is getting, it's still using 43 amps right now out of our 900 amp battery bank to get this aircon down to where it needs to be. Again, this can get up to like 80, 90 again, depending what solar, even more in the hundreds if you're really just cranking this thing down to try and get it cool. So I reckon that's pretty good. So once it sort of gets those temperatures, it should sort of float from there. But let's go outside and have a look at what we're working with here. Now, it is a little bit windy too, so don't mind. I've still got my little fluffy thing on here. But what we got, we'll start on the ground. Again, I was one that didn't really have my first probably, what would it be? Maybe 2 years, I reckon, maybe. Traveling Australia full time. I didn't have external solar panels because I thought I didn't need it. But now that I've got them, I'm nearly going to say it's a must. It makes a huge, huge difference because you're going to pick up probably anywhere, again, depending where you are, 2 to 4 hours of extra solar that you wouldn't get just relying on the roof that's generally facing up. So it makes a huge difference because you can chase it around each day. And again, what we got here, this is the Kick-Ass 300 watt foldable panel. So look, basically when I made my decision to buy it, I sort of looked around and found what I could get the most off the ground. And basically I sort of seen people getting sort of 15 amps, some around 17. That's exactly what I get with this, 15 to 17 amps, which is awesome. Again, I got paid around, I reckon, maybe $700. I bought 2 of these. I got one sitting at home. The reason I haven't got both on me because they fit under the bed perfectly, but they are heavy. They are pretty big and heavy. That is the only thing I'm gonna say about them. But 15 to 17 amps all day, which is pretty bloody good for a 300 watt panel. The other one I got down here, which I bought this from BCF, I reckon about $700 as well. This is the KT Solar 300 watt blanket. Now look, I'll probably get around 10 amps out of this thing, maybe. No, I think 10 is probably the most that I've got from it. And look, the reason I got this one, because it takes up less room, less weight, but it's costed me probably 5 to 7 amps to what I'm usually running when I have 2 of the Kick-Ass solar panels. Everyone's got their pick between the solar, the blanket goes on the ground, and the foldable panel. I'm a panel man all day. I definitely think this has been good, but there's so many pros and cons. Like if it's real filthy on the ground, it just gets absolutely, so let's turn around from this wind. It gets absolutely filthy. You got to wipe it every single time with the panels. You can get away with it a little bit more. And again, I'm only getting 10 amps, which is still good, but it's just, like I said, it's costing me 5 to 7 amps to what I'm usually getting. So you can get more with a couple of panels. So if you're going to choose between both, again, this is why I went for the cheaper brands, because what I've found is, again, I'm usually against, I just buy whatever's the most expensive, like best brand. It's generally what I do. But I just found with these external panels is just, like the Red Arc ones, you know, amazing brand, even the Energive ones, they'll sort of anywhere from 2 to 3 grand, and they'll still only guarantee 9 to 10 amps. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I need the amps. So again, anywhere from 700 to $1,000, you can sort of get on average the 300 watts, you know, that 15 to 17 amps. So we've got these facing up the sun here. On the roof of the van, we've got, what do we got? We've got 1400 watts of solar up there. So there is 7 200 watt panels, they're Energive panels. We've got one on the slope as well, which is awesome. So you do get a bit of that extra extra morning sun. The heat is a big factor with this, how clean your solar panels are and the heat. And again, because they're just facing there, you know, directly in the sun and facing up, they're not always going to be the best. I sort of found, it got to a stage where up north, I'm like, are these panels, have I got a panel missing or something like that? And I got up and sort of covered one, like I sort of covered one to sort of see, to figure out exactly how much I was sort of getting. And I was sort of around that 6 to 8 amps per panel in really hot conditions. So again, if you sort of said 8 to 10 off each panel, again, more once once in the perfect solar conditions, which, you know, it is hard to get that, but that's sort of a general gauge of sort of what we sort of get off the roof here.
G'day, we hope you're enjoying today's episode.
In 2023, we personally helped 120 people improve their health and their finances. If 2024 is the year that you're wanting to buy back your time and create more financial freedom, I want to let you know over on our website, travelingcampers.com.au, we've got a brand new process in there. No BS, straight to the point. It's all created by myself. In an hour and a half, we teach you exactly what it is we do. So if you're ready to learn from our success, take action, start your entrepreneurial journey, go across, check it out. You've been in contact with our team. We can't wait to hear from you. Now, a couple of things you need to know before we go in, look at all the specs of the battery system, etc., and see what's going on. Like, I'm not a 12-volt expert, yeah? Like, I am the same as 99% of other people. I'm just an average caravan consumer. We've built a lifestyle for ourselves where we can live anywhere in the world, and we've chosen to live in an off-road caravan. Our motive behind it all was to have all the luxuries that you would have in a house and at home, but anywhere around Australia in the caravan. That was our motive behind this. If you've been following for a long time, you're gonna know that. But again, we have no affiliation with any battery companies, Red Arc, Enerdrive, none of that. We never have, and we don't. So I guess what I'm trying to say is every single thing we've done here is because we want to do it and have the best setup for what we do. But what I'm getting at is one of the main things I see is, again, it's a big expense. So one of the most biggest additives you're gonna do, or extras, sorry, would be your battery system and good off-road suspension. That's basically the two key factors that I think it's probably the most biggest expense, but it's also what people are wanting to be careful of. Again, they're probably pushing the budget to get the van in the first place, which I totally get. So they might sort of, you know, skimp a little bit on the batteries or not get the good suspension, etc., the airbags, for example. And then every single time I see when it comes around to purchasing a second van, these are all the inclusions that they must have, because their first van didn't have it. They go out, they run out of batteries, they have problems with their batteries, they're sick of using leveling chocks, for example. All this sort of stuff you don't really appreciate till you're out there in the wild actually using it. But this is things that they're like, nah, we need to have more battery, more solar, airbags, it's a must. Like I said, I'm excited to do this. So basically what I'll do now, let's go inside now and have a look. Again, it's probably been, I don't know, sitting here talking shit for ages. What are we looking at? Oh, so basically right now, so it sounds like we're at 24 and it's calmed down. So now we're basically floating. Oh, 7.9, 0 to 4.2. So we're basically at the stage now where we're sort of floating even, running the aircon at no price. So it's sort of, you can sort of see it's floating a little bit around there, using a bit. So we're basically at that stage now where it's really even. And what I'll generally find is from now on, again, depending what the temperature's like outside, is you'll start to get solar in. You know, we've had anywhere where we're sort of been having the aircon on, we're getting anywhere between 40, 50 amps in, depending on what's going on. One other 240 application I forgot is the Starlink. I don't know if I mentioned that, we've got the Starlink running as well, which can use a bit. It kind of depends as well. But I know when you have it overnight, it can use, you sit on 5, 10 amps. Yeah, it can fluctuate up and down, but it can be a pretty heavy user. So when it's bedtime, I'd probably recommend turning it off. Let's have a little peek of what we're dealing with under our couch here with our Enerdrive system. Again, if you want to have a sort of full, I'll go a bit deeper into it, into any of our caravan rundown, if you want to have a bit of a look at that. But again, a quick background behind this, because again, basically what we do, again, like I said, we're not Enerdrive, Red Arc, whatever brand, whatever. Basically, our only sort of persuasion, I guess, of what brand we use is generally what Lotus is going to be using. In the last 4 years, it's either been Red Arc or Enerdrive, or a bit of a hybrid between the both. So last year's Enerdrive, and look, when I reached out to Enerdrive, I was like, okay, what are we going to do? And I wanted to do a 900 amp system, and I can't remember who it was that I was speaking to there, but I thought I was crazy. They're like, nah, there's no way you can do that. They didn't want to borrow it at all. And look, to be fair to them, to sort of back it, they didn't have a big enough AC charger to be enough to sort of power back up the system. So I do understand that, but again, the guy thought I was just on the phone, thought I was ridiculous for wanting 900 amps, and I'm like, well, this is our house, man. Like, it's like, if it was 42 degrees and you're watching the footy on Sunday and I come around and turn the aircon off after 2-3 hours, like, will that be comfortable? And he's like, well, no. And I'm like, well, that's what I'm chasing here. Like, I want to be able to have the aircon on, I want to be able to be in a gravel pit somewhere in the middle of nowhere, hot, have the internet, have the aircon, be doing work. Because again, when you live full-time in the van, you aren't just outside barbecuing and just, you know, surfing and living the best life all the time, because you don't do that at home. So you don't do that when you're in the caravan full-time either. Bugs, wind, weather, rain, like, you know, you get it all when you're living full-time on it. But basically, it's just like I said to Lotus, I'm like, look, like, I want to do this system. Like, all right, cool, let's do it. So basically, we did it. We're the first ones to do it, and it's sick. And then from there, Enerdrive actually created a kit around that, and more people than ever are having 900 amp battery systems now. Just really, I guess it really just proves that, like, you know, what you can sort of do. And, you know, obviously it's an expense. Again, it's a big expense. You know, these things aren't cheap to have a big battery system, but again, it makes everything, when you can just be out there enjoying all the luxuries from your home and combine it with camping and four-wheel driving and motorbike riding and fishing, all the stuff you love doing, it just changes the game. But anyway, what we got three 300 amp Enerdrive B-Tech batteries. So look, these have been awesome. Haven't had an issue with them at all. They got their new AC charger. So basically what this means is we can get, as soon as we plug into power, 100 amps is going to go back into these batteries, which is mega quick. When you have the big battery system, that's what you need. So look, a quick overnight stop into power. If you run this thing flat, you'll be charged up in no time. The other good thing on that as well, we've got the AC charger, but then we've got down here, we've got two 40 amp MPPT chargers for our solar, and we've also got a 40 amp DC charger here. So basically how I've got it is, again, the DC charger is for the car, so when it's plugged into the TRX, we're getting, again, the only thing with this, it says 40 amps, it's actually capped at 32, so, you know, which these days, it's basically about normal, but it is pretty low. Having more than that would be nice. But how I've got it, that goes to the car, so when we're driving, we get 32 amps in there, and what I've got in this one is my external panels outside my little Anson plugs, that goes to this here. So basically, like I said before, the 15 to 17 amps, you know, plus the 10s. Like right now, you can look on the screen here. I'm getting 24.6 amps in on this now. But once I get more solar in, when I have two of those kick-ass panels, I usually do tap this out at 32 amps, and I'm losing only about 3 or 4 amps, but I've tapped out these chargers. So I've got my two MPPT chargers, again, 40 says 80 total. I can get that, I can nearly top that off the roof, but again, you've got to be in really, really prime conditions to get that. But when my roof solar goes to this, so again, once we've got the AC charger on, you're getting 100 amps plus this. So let's just say I'm getting 65 amps off the sole of the roof. It's putting 165 amps into the battery system when you're plugged into power, which is pretty bloody cool. And also goes as well when you're driving, you're gonna get 32 amps from the DC charger, and then whatever getting off the roof combined. So again, you could be getting anywhere from, you know, 70, 80, you know, sort of amps while you're driving along, which is pretty good. We've got the Enerdrive 2600 watt inverter. Again, I just literally had to get a brand new one of these under warranty. The guys, we got to go to Enerdrive directly. It's happened up near Brisbane, so that was awesome. But what happened was the AC switch, we actually tripped the power when we were at a caravan park, and it blew the AC switch inside of the inverter, which what I've found from other people's experience is a pretty common problem with the Enerdrive one. So basically what that is when you have your inverter, when you plug it in the power, the inverter goes from, you know, inverter to 240 or vice versa. That's what the transfer switch does inside. So it messed that up. We were still able to use the inverter. I had to sort of do a couple of things there to make it work. It didn't like blow it up. But yeah, it didn't work properly in the end. So we've got a new one of them, which is awesome. And again, they got a big board along everything here. The only thing I'm gonna say of this system is it's freaking big. It is huge. It's a big system. A lot of cables. I know it's probably got to be there, but like, it's a big system. Now, before I sort of wrap up with this boring sort of techie sort of stuff, I just wanted to just get across this again, years of just, you know, knowledge and experiences that I'm sort of sharing with you here. Again, we've had this van for 12 months now. And again, we're purchasing our new van in the next 1 or 2 months. And Lotus this year for 2024 is using Red Arc. So we are gonna have a Red Arc system in there. Very similar to this, but a little bit different. So I'm excited to experience that and also show you what we're gonna option for that as well. But again, the last thing I wanna sort of touch on here is who is this battery system for and who it isn't for. And look, I sort of thought it was mainly just for, again, if you're going to live full time in the van and obviously, again, can afford it, look, you're not going to be jumping into a high market, off-road $150,000+ Caravan if you can't afford it. And a lot of people say, again, it's like, why don't I make it more affordable? There is so many more options at the lower budget market than there is at the high end. So again, if you can't afford something like a Lotus or something like their top end, again, they got a new Lotus Sprint now they're launching, which is, back in that more affordable bracket. But guess what I'm saying? If it's another brand as well, if you can't afford that, that's cool. There's so many different lower options that you still get so much gear in as well to suit your vehicle, suit your needs. And again, you could, the money you're sort of saving there to get in your budget, you could put the money into, into your power system and sort of put in something, a bit more powerful in there that you're still going to have all these luxuries off grid. But basically, again, for us, it's our full-time home, so it's perfect. Yeah, it's honestly really, you can never have enough battery, you can never have enough solar. Some people out there say, less battery bank and more solar, then you're sweet. I don't agree with that because you aren't always in sun. That you are definitely not. If the sun was always guaranteed perfect solar conditions every single day, then yeah, I definitely would lean towards that. But Jesus, more time than I could ever count. We've been in places off grid and it's overcast all day, or it's raining and you've got to, sometimes survive, 2 or 3 days plus with no solar off grid. So we've been in those situations before. Maybe you're deep in the bush, beautiful spots, all tree canopies, no solar, or very, very minimum solar. This can happen. This is where having a big battery bank comes into it, because we can still be off grid and have the inverter going. So we have internet, we can have coffees, we can charge laptops, cameras, we can do all that sort of stuff. Aircon, maybe not aircon the whole time. If you're getting zero solar, you will die down pretty quick. But you can have all these luxuries about, because the worst thing when you go off grid is just watching those freaking amps like a hawk every single second. Like, I love seeing what's coming in, what's going out, where's that? Like, I love sort of, checking up the stats, but there's nothing worse than worrying about power all the time, especially if it's hot, if you got kids, the missus, like, all this sort of stuff. If everyone's uncomfortable and hot and worried about power, it really, really wrecks the experience of the camping trip, of the living on the road, whatever it looks like. It's really a big factor in that. I would say, again, I'm going to say these days, 600 amps is a very, very good package to be able to use most of the luxuries, use aircon for a long amount of time, package with solar, really, really good. Again, 800, 900, I think it's absolutely epic. More battery bank, the better. The only con with that is to try and charge up off grid. Yes, you're charging a lot bigger bank. So if we go fully flat to fully charge up off grid, we'd be pushing it. I've done it once, I think, off grid all day in perfect conditions, or full back to 100%. But it's generally going to take you probably, 2 days, especially if you're trying to still use it 2 or 3 days to sort of, it's hard to get back to 100% unless you go out, you keep going out of the van all the time. That's probably the best thing. If you're doing, day trips all day and you're not really in the van, you can have the aircon off, let it charge, you're going to get a lot more days. But I'm sort of basing this off if you're in the van, aircon on all the time, which we're doing with this test, and sort of just really being around it all the time, it's going to really shorten that time there. But what I'm saying is, as simple as a 45-degree day, 40-degree one-nighter, or even two-nighter out the motorbike track, whatever it is, if you've got a big battery bank there, you can just crank that aircon all night, because you're going to go home the next day. If you run it flat, you don't care. So you can just, it's as simple as one night. If it's really, really hot, everyone's happy, aircon's on, everyone's, whatever you're doing, riding all day, have a shower, aircon, there's nothing better. And just if that one night, or even just 2 nights to get through a weekend, having a big system like that, that would make my day. I know I love when we're only going to be somewhere for 1 or 2 days. I'm like, all right, cool, I can just drain this thing. We're going to a caravan park, whatever, the next day or two. And you just really don't have to worry about it at all. And again, just there's nothing worse, especially if it's even just one night. Be like, how much power am I going to have before I go to sleep? If the kid's going to be pissed, if you got induction and no gas, am I going to be able to cook dinner for everyone? If you can't do that, it's going to be a friggin' shit show. All right, I've spoken way longer than I wanted to there, but I hope that's a lot of valuable information for you. So basically, it's been about an hour, and as I said, that's the start to use a little bit. What we're doing, the aircon's just gone and kicked in. Oh no, well, see, we're still 5 amps, -6, +6. Anyway, we're basically floating there. So we're basically running the aircon off grid for free, not using any of our battery banks, still at 100%, which is awesome. I basically expect this to be all day. But what we're going to do here is we're going to leave this aircon running. Even if it gets cold overnight, we're freezing. That thing's staying on until this thing is over. So my goal here is to try and get through the 3 days of the hot days we've got coming up, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, we're just winging this as we go. So now we've kind of got to just chill, like kill time while we're just letting the batteries just.
This could take days.
I know. I sort of said we've got 3 hot days, so that's my goal to get through that.
Okay.
And then other than that, I don't know. It's like 18 degrees after that, but it'll still be cool. But I've got a professionally built arena cross track and motocross track on this property, so I'm pretty bloody lucky. So to kill some time, I'm going to go out do some motos, and then the AMA Supercross is on, and that's basically going to be my day. Bit of laptop work this afternoon. But that's what it's looking like today, basically. But I guess what we're going to do, we're going to count like our kettle uses.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
With
Yep,
a bit
let's
of
do
a
that.
tally.
Yep.
What else? We'll just sort of, as we start using some things, we'll do a couple of random check-ins. I don't know.
Yep. Well,
It's
we're
either-
using the washing machine now, but the washing machine uses like 4 amps.
Yeah, it uses bugger all, doesn't
doesn't
it?
use much.
Yeah, not much, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is either going to be a really boring thing to watch, or it might be kind of cool. So, I don't know.
I think it'll be cool.
It'll be cool. All right. All right, epic ride. It was bloody getting hot out there, but it was just such a epic time on the tracks out there. Mikayla just used the hairdryer out of the shower. That wasn't me. That was definitely Mikayla. Men don't use hairdryers. She's now she's now heating up my honey chicken for lunch in the convection oven. So again, we're 4.5 hours deep. That's the oven going now. We're at 99%. We're getting a generator. We're at 99. What are you laughing at? We can't be at 99. That's dangerous.
4 hours and we've used 1%.
We're gonna need a generator.
We're fine. We're gonna be fine.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. We are wrapping up, going to bed. So what we're looking at here is we're using only 14 amps. We've used, we're at to 89%. So 89%. So we've used about 99 amps. So that's 11 hours of air conditioner. And what did it get to? It was like 30, low 30s.
Yeah, low 30s.
Yeah, it got hot. It did get hot. So that was with the aircon on 24 all day. Again, it probably could have been, it was nice. We're in here most of the day, in and out. But like probably 1 degree, 2 degree down. But again, I'm in power efficient mode here. Again, if it's overnight trip or something, you could do that. But anyway, we're still on 24. And look, I'm not going to lie. It's probably a night that we probably could sleep with the air conditioner off. Literally just the other night was the first night in like 3 months of being at the up in Queensland that we slept with the aircon off. But yeah, for this test, we're keeping it on. But again, about an hour, I reckon it'd be cool enough to just have the window open without the aircon. But we're going to leave it on. And what I'm going to do, because look, this is the most simplest trick ever, but literally, we had the van for how long till we knew about night mode?
No, we've had caravans for years. And we've only started using it, I think, this year. Maybe last year.
Yeah. So basically, when you're off grid, you can press this little button here, which is, oh Jesus Christ! I just lost my thing. I just dropped my microphone. So this little button up here, oh, you can see that just there. So you turn on night mode, so it goes into a bit of a power efficient mode. You'll sort of hear it. It does take the cool off it a smidge, but again, if you're off grid and wanted to have the aircon on all night, use that. It's definitely going to help you during the night. So we turn the Starlink off during the night. It's still on now. But to give you an example again, so we've got the aircon on. It's barely worked because it's sort of, it's not that bad. But again, if you can get it to that set temp on and it's nice and you're on night mode, you can run the aircon very well. So once we turn the Starlink off, do we just turn it off?
Sure.
I just want to turn up. I want to see what it does. I'm gonna give you an accurate. And then what we got? Oh yeah, so 11 amps. And once we turn these lights and that off again, I don't know.
Press sleep mode. See what it does.
Okay. Oh, well, I'll show you a function on the. A cool thing with this C zone, we've got all our different modes here. So what we can do here, which I love, I can just go sleep mode, and then we'll give that about 30 seconds.
Just let it play and then I can.
Oh, there we go. All right, so do that. Now I gotta put my screen back up. What are we at? 8.6. Again, not the most warmest night, but 8.6 amps with the aircon on. And that obviously that's what it's running the fridge. Some 12-volt lights here. We got that's rock on.
That's rock on.
Got a Srock on as well, so pretty bloody good. But anyway, that's day 1, 11 hours. I feel like we're doing like a survival mission or something here.
Aircon survival mission.
Aircon survival. That should be the thumbnail. Aircon survival mission. But anyway, that just proves that again, we didn't use any amps until probably about 4 or 5 o'clock. So again, you can basically, if you got enough solar there, you can run the aircon basically all day for free without using any amps. So anyway, that's day 1. Here we go. All right, we're almost at the 24-hour mark. So I want to give you, we're about to head out for probably, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 hours. So I want to give you a quick rundown again. The aircon was on all night at 24, which was good. It did turn out to be pretty hot at the start of the night. So it was perfect having that on. Coffee, hairdryer, I think that's about it this morning. And we're at 76%. We're putting in 22 amps right now. So still got 684 amps at the nearly the 24-hour mark. So looking pretty good, but today's like 33 degrees. So it's going to be a hot day. We're heading out. I got the solar position the best sort of place possible. So we'll keep going. All right, quick bit of an update. It's been a massive day today. I've been doing a couple of calls tonight, and we did a fair bit. We weren't really much around the van today. We kept the aircon going all day at 24. I wasn't really here for solar placement, so we got still pretty good solar for the day, but we got back up to, with running the aircon, we got back up to 90%. So that was a great jump. But then in the afternoon we suffered. It was 33 degrees, so it got mega hot today. 33 is pretty hot for Melbourne. So it got pretty hot, and so we're back, and it started to use it. We still kept it at 24. You did 40 minutes in the oven?
I did 40 minutes in the oven and the microwave maybe 3 times today.
Yeah. What else? No kettles in the afternoon. A few 240
two
cameras
this morning, or 1.
Yeah, I think we covered that, but
Yeah.
pretty heavy usage. But the aircon really started to use the power because it was hot. So even at 24 degrees. So, but basically now, like right now, we've got a few lights now on. Still the Starlink on, but we're using 40 amps. We're down to 46%, which on this battery bank is 414 amps left. So we get into that dangerous territory now because we got to get overnight, and then we got to do another 33 degree day tomorrow, and get through that next night. So we're in that time now where it's starting to get pretty low. It's still 400 amps, but to get through tonight, and then tomorrow, because it's going to be so hot, so it's going to be really great test for that. But that's basically that. I'm wrecked. We're going to bed. Again, we've got a lot of stuff on again tomorrow, but yeah, what are we going to be at? We're at the 48-hour mark tomorrow at 10 o'clock, so hopefully we can make it through to that. All right, day 3 in the morning there. We're getting into pretty dangerous territory getting out, so it was nice and hot overnight. We've got another 33-degree day today. So this morning's been the washing machine, hairdryer, kettle. So a bit of heavy activity, and obviously aircon all night. We're sitting at 31%. We've still got 279 amps left. I'm currently using 15 amps at the moment, but sun's coming out today, so it's going to be very interesting. But it's another 33-degree day, so we are pushing it. Today could be the end, possibly tonight. But we'll see. We're just about at the 48-hour mark, which is pretty bloody good for these conditions. But we'll see what we can do today. All right, I'm pulling this test short just a little bit. I'll explain in 2 seconds, but it's now Tuesday the 13th, 8:25. So for my rough calculation, it's about 58 hours. Again, aircon on, 24 degrees, the whole time, all day, all night. And you've seen all the bits and pieces we've done. This afternoon, what we've done, a couple more kettles. What else have we done since we spoke last? Just a kettle. And just, yeah, kettles and laptop chargers. I think that's sort of been it today. But again, it's been such an awesome test because it's been sunny, hot, 33 big couple of days, and then it's also been storms, raining, overcast, so no solar. So that's where we suffered today, because generally from what I've done before, I reckon we would have got through tonight and most of tomorrow, because I've done up to 84 hours. I still had 20% left, so I still could have kept going before. But again, this was a really good test because it's obviously going to be a bit more, yeah, it was nice and hot conditions. But again, we're looking at, I'm at 14%. I'm using 39 amps at the moment, aircon's still on. 126 amps left in the battery, but I was going to go down to dead flat or 5%, so I would have still got another, I don't know, 3 hours, maybe another 3 hours possibly. But what's happened, we're staying near Wallen at the moment, and there's been a power outage like all day or most of the afternoon, everywhere. Like shops are closed, supermarkets throwing all their food out. So what's happened is we don't have power to charge back up. So what I'm worried about is during the night, if we run them dead flat, then we have nothing, and hopefully it comes on overnight, but I'm not sure. So just to be aware of that, I'm going to try and turn it all off and try and just, this 100 amps should hopefully get us through the night if we're just, running just 12 volt, hopefully, but just in case. But hopefully the power does come on very shortly. Well, there you have it. I hope you got a ton of value from today's episode. Again, we get asked this question so many times. So yes, it was long. I could talk about this sort of stuff all day, but I really wanted to answer as many questions as possible that we get all in one hit. And yes, I'm glad I pulled it up a little bit short, because it wasn't until that next evening that we actually got power back. So we turned the aircon off. We did get through the night all good. And then we still had solar for the rest of the day. It was a bit cooler next day. So again, this is a test more about just being heavy on the appliances, aircon, because air conditioner use is generally the #1 question that we get asked. But yeah, you can't get any more of a real life test than that, than literally just being in real time. But again, it does change so much. 58 hours is a bloody good number considering all the weather, the rain, the heat. So it's very, very good. You can definitely see where we're coming from now with just how much it helps us being off grid. And I really sort of hope that answers if you're looking into this for your current setup and maybe what you're doing further. I really hope you got a lot from that. Don't forget, if you're watching this within the first 24 hours, comment below about your battery system, what you use it for, what you love most about it, or maybe what your ultimate battery system is. We'll personally go through the comments, pick a winner, get you to reach out to us on our Instagram page. We'll get you sorted with the $300 and some traveling campers merch. Good luck. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you out on the tracks.